I wanted to create this video because I'm not doing this for political parties, but as a citizen of a country being slowly hollowed from within. Look around you. Look at your neighbours, your colleagues, your friends. The doctor working endless shifts at 150 grand a year has far more in common with the teacher making 30 grand than those making millions each week. Yet our system treats them as if they belong to the same class as the ultra wealthy. The truth is simple, but deliberately obscured. The wealthiest in our society are not paying their fair share. This isn't about envy. This isn't about politics. This is about basic mathematics. When you earn £35,000 a year, you pay 20% income tax, plus national insurance, plus VAT on almost everything you buy, plus council tax, plus fuel duty. All told, about 30% of everything you earn goes back to the public purse. For a family of four, that means choosing between heating and eating during winter months. It means putting off dental care because it's not covered by the NHS. It means watching your child's face fall when you explain why they can't go on the school trip their friends are attending. Yet through clever accounting, offshore arrangements and loopholes, deliberately maintained by those in power, individuals worth billions pay effective tax rates of just 1 to 2% on their vast fortunes. The same people who could lose 10 million down the back of a sofa and not notice it missing. And it's not just individuals. The corporate giants that dominate our economy have perfected the art of tax avoidance. Companies making billions in profit here pay almost nothing in corporation tax. They route their earnings through Ireland, Luxembourg and the Cayman Islands, while using our roads, our educated workforce, our NHS and our legal system. Your local coffee shop pays more tax than multinationals making billions. The corner bookstore contributes more than online giants with warehouses across the country. Your neighbourhood pharmacy pays a higher effective tax rate than pharmaceutical conglomerates making record profits. These corporations aren't creating wealth, they're extracting it. They're not job creators, they're job destroyers, crushing small businesses that actually pay their taxes and treat their workers with dignity. And when they do create jobs, they're increasingly precarious, underpaid positions that require state subsidies through universal credit just so workers can survive. I don't want them paying more than us. I just want them paying the same as us. The doctor, the teacher, the electrician, we're not coming for your money. Your tax burden is already heavy enough. We're talking about the handful of individuals who measure their weekly income in millions. People who own more homes than they can remember, who have never checked a price tag, who are more wealthy than they could spend in 10 lifetimes. While we argue about immigration and culture wars, manufactured distractions, poverty deepens across our nation, children go hungry, working families rely on food banks, young people will never own homes. Look at Sarah in Manchester, working 2 jobs and still falling behind on rent. Look at the Jenkins family in Birmingham, both parents working full-time but unable to afford childcare, forcing their elderly parents to watch the kids despite their health problems. Look at Robert in Glasgow, a skilled tradesman who can't afford the deposit on even the smallest flat despite 15 years of saving. These aren't the exceptions. These are becoming the rule. The wealth doesn't trickle down, it gets siphoned up and locked away. And the government solution? Raise national insurance on businesses, a direct tax on employment that hurts workers and small employers while barely touching the truly wealthy. We end up doing twice the work because small local companies can't afford to replace colleagues who leave. We bear the burden while those who could easily afford to contribute more continue to accumulate at our expense. This isn't sustainable. This isn't just. And if we don't act now, the future grows darker. It might not be us who face absolute poverty. It might not be our parents, but it could be our children. It could be their children, born into a world where opportunity has been completely extinguished, where housing, education, healthcare, and dignity itself become luxuries reserved for the few. Imagine your grandchildren working 60-hour weeks just to share a flat with 4 strangers. Imagine them delaying having families indefinitely because they can't afford children. Imagine them being one illness away from homelessness because the safety net has been completely dismantled. This isn't dystopian fiction. It's the trajectory that we're on. The wealthy aren't inherently evil, but a system that allows unlimited accumulation while basic needs go unmet is fundamentally broken. We need to close tax loopholes. We need to equalise tax rates. We need a modest wealth tax on fortunes above 10 million. Together, these measures could generate 85 billion annually, enough to raise tax thresholds for working people, support small businesses, reduce national debt, and rebuild our crumbling infrastructure. This isn't radical. This is fair. This is necessary. This is our future at stake. The time for polite requests has passed. The time for meaningful change is now. Stand with me, not as left or right, not as conservative or Labour or Reform, but as citizens who believe that society is measured not by how it treats its wealthiest members, but by how it cares for those with the least, how it makes work pay for those on lowest incomes, how it trains its young people to not strive for crumbs, but to strive for happiness and prosperity. Media giants owned by the super wealthy will have you believe that we can't do this. They'll pay individuals hundreds of thousands of pounds to spread a narrative that we can't tax the rich, that we can't tax mega corporations. They will use word salad and mental gymnastics to have you believe that your enemy is an immigrant and not those that consistently lobby the government to reduce their record low levels of tax and place more burden on you. Let's build a political movement. Let's force the government to make necessary change. If we don't do things that are necessary because they are hard, then our children and their children will fall into desperate poverty. Our strength is in our numbers. Our power is in our unity. And our moment is now.